I've just arrived in Kuta Lombok, and it's a bit of a madhouse down here. I wanted to sort of take a look around, see what the story is today, but also decide if it would be a place that I'd be willing to live, because that's one of the things I've been thinking about over here in Lombok is it a place I could live? It's like, I've just arrived and it's amazing how much construction there is. Honestly, it is phenomenal. I've barely ever seen this anywhere else in the world except Tulum in Mexico and Canggu in Bali. And maybe this is the new one of those places, I don't know, but there's a huge amount of money coming in, a lot of construction going on. So let's check out this town and see what it's all about. I'm walking south along the main road, Jalan Raya Kuta. And the reason I'm doing that is I want to sort of get a feel for what it sort of is like, sort of just out of the main tourist zone. And then as we walk into the main tourist zone, what it sort of feels like there. My hotel is actually back even further away from the beach. It's not even really walking distance to the beach, my little hotel. I'll show you it after, towards the end of the video, because it'll be sort of instructive on sort of what you can get for your money here. This is sort of southern Lombok, and because it's southern Lombok, it's all obviously a surfing destination. People typically in the past came here to surf all along the southern coast. There's great beaches for surfing, and sort of was opened up by the surfers originally. And Kuta Lombok, I mean, it was pretty popular even sort of 15, 20 years ago, had some popularity, but it wasn't viral or anything like that. But it was, you know, it was a place that people went on holidays for sure. But what I've been sort of hearing over the past, I don't know, couple of years, 3, 4 years, I've been hearing Kuta Lombok being mentioned more and more and more, which I found a little bit surprising because it was a little bit of a, I don't know, a bit of a daggy place. You know, 10 years ago, it wasn't a place that people generally went. But what I'm seeing here right now, when we talk about Bali being a little bit quiet, is a different scenario here. This feels very, very busy with foreign tourists, very busy. When you're looking for a place to live, when I was looking for a place to live in Bali, it's not just about what feels right, but it's also some practical issues that you need to take into account, like, is it close to hospitals? Is it close to the airport? Are the roads easy to ride along at night? Like, I was speaking to a guy earlier today, an Aussie guy who owns a hotel in Selong, Belanat, and he was saying that for him, it's difficult to live out there. I mean, it's nice, but you start to miss some of the infrastructure, some of the things that make, you know, day-to-day life a little bit easier, like good roads. It's a problem when you're on rubbish roads all the time. Or if you want to go and see a movie, it becomes problematic. You've got to go drive through the rain at night, through massive potholes and that sort of stuff, and it sort of grinds you down a bit. And I sort of can appreciate that because I've dealt with some of that in Bandung, mainly due to traffic. And when you can deal with traffic for a short period of time, but when it's your daily life, like, it grinds you down and you just don't want to do it anymore. So I'll be interesting to know what the infrastructure is sort of like here in Kuta as we walk around. I'm just sort of listening to some of the accents around the place, and the majority of the accents are European. Like, they're really mostly European. You've got British, you've got German, you've got French here, probably some Spanish, I reckon, if I had to guess. And I'm not really hearing too many Aussies yet, which is interesting. Maybe that's as a result of flights, maybe being a little bit easier. If you're coming from Europe, you can sort of go on Singapore Airlines or, I don't know, one of those airlines that flies through Kuala Lumpur and get direct to Lombok. For an Aussie to come to Lombok's a little bit more of a journey, I guess. There's a lot of those bakery type cafe things I'm seeing around the place. There's like for example, a gelateria across the road. There's pizza shops. I saw a pizza cart of some sort. And the age or the demographic of the people here seems to be people in their 20s primarily. So maybe it's like the Canggu crowd who don't want to go to Canggu anymore. Maybe. Could be that crowd, or I don't know what crowd it is really. It's an odd one. I don't know who they are, where they would normally fit into the scene, because you can usually sort of classify people like when you look at it from a Bali perspective, but these people, I wouldn't go and label them as being like, I wouldn't label them as a jungle crowd, that's for sure. That'd be a bit offensive, I reckon. What I've heard about Kuta Lombok is generally that it's not a place that you really go to the beach in. You sort of like might use this place as a base and then go to the other beaches that are around the place that are a bit better. So you'd normally jump on a motorbike or whatever to go and do that. Now, if you're not comfortable on motorbikes, you'd probably want to go and hire a car, because getting around with a car and driver is probably a bit of a pain, you know. You'd probably go and literally rent a car and drive that around on your own, you know. Or get on motorbikes and do that on your own. I mean, it's up to each person to sort of decide how they're going to get around. But I think being mobile in a place like this, I think's the go, to be honest. I think you do need to be mobile. Like, it appears that you can sort of walk around fairly easily. The footpaths are okay. It's not really, like, all the cars and stuff are parked on the footpaths and motorbikes are parked on the footpath, so it's not that handy. Like, if you had a pram or a wheelchair, I reckon this could be a little bit of a problem. But for other people, it's probably going to be okay. It's not like Sanur where it's all clean and, you know, easy to get around. A bit different to that. This is old school Indonesia. As we get closer to the centre of town, I am still seeing things like jajanan pasar there, like that person's just selling jajanan pasar in a very traditional sense. Then across the road you have this ultra modern Starbucks that seems to have quite a few people in it. As you know, I'm not a big fan of Starbucks, so take from that what you will. Yeah, all this stuff, so that's your footpath, and then all the cars parked on it. I mean, in most parts of Indonesia, they would actually sort that out, not just in the tourist areas. Like I know in a place like Bandung, they would generally try and not allow that. I mean, it does happen, of course, but they seem to be on it a little bit better. Here, it's just a free-for-all. When I see places like that, Thai kitchen and bar, and then canal pot, tropical bistro. Canal pot means exhaust pipe. Yeah, when I see that sort of stuff around here, they look really like fantastic places to go and eat. No idea about prices. I'd say they'd be pretty pricey, but yeah, it looks really sharp and really modern when it comes to all of that sort of cafe and restaurant type thing around here, which is interesting. In fact, all of those places look far, far more modern than anywhere in Bali except for Canggu. You know, Canggu is probably the only place that I'm feeling might sort of match it in terms of modernity. These are really modern, sharp places, sort of world standard modern, sharp places. From what I understand, this is like the crossroads of town here. And I wouldn't say the centre of town, but it's the crossroads of town. The two main roads sort of meet. This bush radio place looks really busy, really slick, you know. It wouldn't be out of place in somewhere like, I don't know, Byron Bay or what have you, you know, that sort of place. In fact, when I sort of say that, it does have a real feel about it that I'm not even really sure what it is. It's got a newness to it, a modernity to it, a bit of an atmosphere happening here. If you're into that sort of really new feel about a place and you want to go and try out lots of new eateries and new cafes and all that sort of stuff, this looks like the place to be. I'm actually astonished by how many people I'm seeing here, how many visitors there are here. It's so vibrant and so busy. I haven't seen Bali like that for ages actually. That's interesting for Bali because this looks like the new frontier. This is Kopi Susu. I'm going to try this place out. They've got one of these outlets on Gili Air, and I sort of like that place, so I'm going to try this one out. And Susan's already down here. She got here before me. She's going to hang out here while I go and make a video. Hello, Susan. So I was just speaking to Susan. She's been looking at a few places around here, and she said the prices are out of this world expensive. This place that we're in right now in Kopi Susu doesn't seem expensive to me. It seems about middle of the road for somewhere like Sanur, for maybe a little bit more expensive. It's 35,000 plus 16% tax. That's about right actually for Sanur, although this is a small coffee and I'd probably get a large coffee for that price in Sanur where I normally go. But it's not outrageous. She was just talking about some other places that she looked at that she might want to go and have lunch at, and that is not surprising, looking at how modern some of these places are and how sharp they are, but just seeing how busy they are is incredible. I'm just so surprised that there are so many people here. It feels like something's been going on here that I didn't really know about, and it's so big. Now the vibe is young European type couples. Maybe that's why it's busy. The European sort of high season's probably in full swing now. I'm feeling that might be the go. I think, but I could be wrong there, but it just feels like it. The people that I'm seeing in all these eateries and cafes and so forth around the place seem to be in their mid-20s primarily, and they're just hanging out, having coffee, or like we are. Like, we're just the old people around here. It's interesting. I've got a funny feeling this could be very attractive for a lot of people. Very attractive. Whether it's attractive for me or not, I'm not I'm not confident because I don't, inside I feel some anxiety about the place that I can't really place. But certainly, for a lot of people, they're going to love it. Here's my coffee. That there is a classic sort of style from Zaman Dulu in Indonesia, or the old days. That is what, usually you get a thing called a mangkok ayam, which is a bowl with that on there. You don't normally get like a cup and saucer, but I really love how they've got that cup and saucer going with those old stylings on it. I think it's amazing. Let's try that coffee up. I know it's going to be good, like it can't be bad. If it's bad, well then the day's over. It's very good. Oh, the reason I was looking down as I was saying it, because something caught my eye. It says, your smile is contagious to those around you. And there it is, a little thing there. I think it's nice. I mean, it's a bit naff, but I like it anyway, because I do actually believe it. If you can put a bit of a smile on it, even if you're feeling rubbish, you can sort of brighten your own day up, but brighten the day off someone else. Got a tropical downpour now. I don't know what's going on here. I don't even know if it's raining back home in Bali, but since we've been in Lombok, gee, the rain has been just bucketing down for days. Every day there's been a tropical downpour of some sort, and that sort of contrast with Bali, which for the past almost 2 months now, at least 6 weeks has been relatively dry, very few downpours, so that's interesting. It's going to make an interesting afternoon, that's for sure. Got one of these ugly filled donuts. I don't know who's filled it like that, but that is an ugly one for you. Let's give it a go. It's pretty oily. Like Nutella. Oh, that's good. Okay, the rain stopped, and now we're going to have a bit of a walk down to that beach path to see what's going on down there, see what the beach is like, see if it's really swimmable, see if there are many people down there, see what sort of the vibe is down at that beachfront area. Then I'll probably, I think, sort of the plan would be to loop back up that main road again and see if I can find something else going on. Interestingly, the closer we get to the beach, the more it's like typical Indo beach vibes. Like it's like you're in the village again. Whereas back there, oh, there is a village up there. I might just have a quick look up there. Whereas up there, they've got all the expensive cafes that I just came from. Oh, I can hear Wallet. That's the things where they get the swallows making those birds' nests, where they harvest a bird's nest, and I think it's the spit from the swallows or something like that. That's in up there. And they're worth heaps, those places. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? How the sort of contrast in from where I just was. It's really quite odd. This is the old fishing village vibe down here. I was just about to say I've got to be careful there because it's been raining. There's kids without any clothes on having a swim in the puddle, so I didn't want to film that. All right, we're down at the beach now. And yeah, typical fishing village type vibe down here. I can't believe how quickly it's changed. And the other thing is, I'm the only foreigner here, which is crazy. That main street is absolutely packed with people. I guess this is just not the pleasant place to be. It is quite a beautiful outlook. I mean, you can't swim in that water. It's full of sticks and that sort of stuff. It's not, there's a bit of rubbish in there, but it's, yeah, not great. Got a little jetty along here, which I find interesting. Almost every wooden jetty I've been on in Indonesia is a death trap, so you've got to be careful usually, but this looks all right. Looks all right. Actually, when I look over in that direction in the distance, which is I think down where the Novotel Hotel is in that area, the beach down there is like a white sand beach, or a very yellow sand beach. It's not one of these grey dirty ones. It looks beautiful over there, and the water's a bit turquoise, and maybe that's where the centre of beach activity for foreigners is. Okay, we've got some sort of beachfront path down here. Let's have a look. Now I can see a bunch of bamboo stopping people from going further. Is that for motorbikes or for pedestrians? I don't know. But I think I'm going to go across anyway. This whole kampung vibe down by the beach is totally unexpected. When I first started sort of walking down that main road and it started to become a little bit more westernised and modern and sharp, and all the young kids are out there in the cafes and restaurants and having a good time, and it was absolutely packed. I hadn't expected the beachfront to be like this at all. I'm just so surprised by it. It's just a total opposite to what you'd expect. Like this could be anywhere in Indonesia on the beachfront, except for this path, which is relatively good, but it's pretty standard Indonesian life. I'm not sure if it's an age thing or just my style or whatever, but I have this odd feeling here so far. I think it's something to do with age, I think. Maybe because I'm a little bit older than most of the people here, I feel a little bit out of place, to be honest. I think that might be it. It's not really my vibe. I love all the good cafes and the good food and stuff like that, but when it's filled with people who are not really my tribe, my people, and I can't really get along with them, or it's not that I can't get along with them, but I can't really connect with them in the way that I would. I mean, yeah, I feel a little bit uncomfortable, to be honest, so far here. Living here, I think that'd grind on you after a while, especially because it is a tourist area, and I think living in a tourist area requires a fine balancing act. You need to be able to dip your toes in and out at will, and you don't want to be disturbed by it in normal life. So where I live in Sanur, the thing about that is that, of course, Sanur is a tourist area, and I dip my toes in when I want, go down for a run, have a bite to eat, and then the rest of the time I sit at home, and I'm not really sort of being impacted negatively by tourism. It's absolutely fine, and that's why I love living there. Whereas I think here, that tourism aspect is a lot more full on. It feels to be, I mean, there'd be more tourists here in Kuta Lombok than there would be in Sanur, for sure. Like, from what I can see, they're just everywhere here. It's totally bizarre as we continue throughout the kampung here down near the beach. The other thing is about the people here is that people seem to be a lot more mobile here. Because this is sort of a base to explore southern Lombok, people here will get on motorbikes and go further afield, but they'll also use motorbikes to get in and out of town because a lot of accommodation appears to be quite far from the centre. So there's a lot more mobility here with the people that come here, which is sort of different to what you get in even a place like Kuta. And most people sort of stay in that area and just walk around. They might get a cab, but they're not sort of cruising around on motorbikes everywhere as much as they are here. Now, I don't know if that's a sign of the times or the age of the people, what it is, but it just feels that people are all over the place here. Why is that problematic? Well, it's not really problematic, but if you're living here, you're gonna have a lot more interaction with new people all the time. And if you don't really want that, that's a problem. I mean, yeah, it depends on what sort of person you are. I'm sure some people love that. Now, the thing about Kuta is that it's the village, it's the one that's been here all that time. But what the government's done over the past decade or so is they've built a thing called a special economic zone where they want to lift the whole area to be an international destination, and they're calling it Mandalika. And it's where they've built that MotoGP track as well. And so this whole area is called Mandalika. And up here, I think I've got a big sign that says Mandalika actually. Let's have a look at that. But I mean, it's still Kuta. I mean, most people aren't going to call it Mandalika. I mean, it doesn't really, yeah, Kuta Mandalika. I mean, it's Kuta, basically. I guess maybe the reason they're doing that is so that people don't get confused between Kuta Lombok and Kuta Bali, which makes sense as well, doesn't it? But the thing is, the government sort of has these programs from time to time. It's a tourism ministry that has programs where they try and prioritise different areas of Indonesia and give money to them, inject money, do a bit more promotion on different areas. And most of them haven't really been successful. Some of the ones they've tried to promote in the past have been just stalled, really. Nothing's really happened. This place has been a success, it seems. Like, for example, Lake Toba is one that's often touted as one of the new Balis. They even have a program called 5 New Balis in Indonesia, or 5 Next Balis, I think they called it. I mean, it didn't really work. Banyuwangi was one of them one time. They had some place up in Halmahera, which is really just so remote. They had quite a few different places over time, and yeah, whether they succeed or not, I mean, this place is a success, it's got to be said. I mean, the amount of money flowing into this place now must be incredible, absolutely incredible. I'll get down onto this beach because this looks good, especially now the sun's out. Look at this. Beautiful down here. This is the white sand section. Halo, lagi bikin konten ya? Aku juga. All right, look at that. That's what we're here for. Like, we're over there, the dirty area, and then we're onto that. That's what we want. Look at that beautiful, beautiful white sand beach. Now I'm impressed. It's getting so bright now, I've got my sunnies on. I've just noticed, I've got to be careful where I'm flashing my camera. I mean, I don't know whether I have to be careful, but I don't want to get into a fight with anyone. But I'm seeing a few G-strings around the place. And I don't even know if I'll get banned on YouTube from putting that sort of stuff up, but the boyfriends of the people probably start bashing me up if I start filming people like that. So I'm going to avoid some of those things. People getting sort of their photos taken in G-strings next to the water. Not my go, actually. That's beautiful there, that little island over there. There's a little tree on it. Oh, it is a beautiful beach, isn't it? Here it's just beautiful. The funny thing is, this isn't actually developed. There are hardly any places to eat or drink along here, which is just so odd. So odd. I think I've just spotted a sign over there that I want to have a look at. Before I get to the sign, there's a whole debate about what's appropriate in terms of attire when you're in Indonesia. Is it okay to wear a G-string ever on the beach in public? Well, I don't know the answer to that because I think it's open for debate. But there are certain cultural sensitivities about wearing bikinis around the place. Like, it's still not culturally appropriate anywhere in Indonesia, including Bali, to wear a bikini down the main street. It's not necessarily about religion, it's about cultural norms. And I know that happens all throughout Bali. Not so much around Sanur, I don't see it so much, but I think in those other areas like in Kuta you sometimes see it. Not really appropriate. People do it and probably get away with it, but you know, locals don't really like it. Here, you certainly wouldn't be able to go up to the main street in a G-string down to the beach. I guess it's okay. There you go. So this is called the Mandalika, even though it's really just called Mandalika. That's one of those things that's been happening in Indonesia a lot, where they just put the in the front of something and it makes it sound better. but it does, in like my view, it sounds ridiculous, but anyway. That's just the go, isn't it? The Mandalika. Reminds me of the Nusa Dua. It's actually the same mob that manages it, this in-journey mob. They're like the government tourism company. Bisa bicara bahasa Inggris? Inggris? Nggak ada. Bahasa Indonesia ada? Ada. Ah, they got the sellers here. This Kuta, isn't it? Kuta, it's like Kuta Bali, really, isn't it? No, thank you. Yeah, terusa, udah punya. Thank you. Yeah, enggak. I'm actually going to loop back around to that main street that I haven't been up. So when I got to that main street intersection, I could turn left or go straight. I went straight. I'm going to try and come in from the other side now, see what's up there. Interesting about this whole government sort of attempt to try and promote tourism in places like this. I know their heart is in the right place, but what it does, it gives you this sort of stuff. Totally inorganic development, which is sterile and devoid of tourists. It happens all around the world. You see it all. Like, I saw it in Kazakhstan, for example, where they've got these beautiful centuries-old mosques and mausoleums and all this sort of stuff. And what happens is they say, oh, these are great tourist attractions. Let's pile money into them, do them up, and we'll get even more tourists. And what it turns these places into is Disneyland. And people don't want to be in Disneyland when they're coming to Lombok or going to Kazakhstan. And that's what we sort of have here. It's terrible, terrible. That's actually what Nusa Dua is a little bit. Over the years it's mellowed a bit because it's got some age on it, but still parts of those grounds just feel so manufactured. They don't feel very nice. The problem with the Indonesian tourism is not so much that there isn't development. The problem with Indonesian tourism is primarily due to access, local regulations which prevent businesses being set up and that sort of thing. It's not really a lack of money from the government. It's not even a lack of promotion, to be honest, because what you can do, you can get these things growing organically pretty easy. I remember I was at a place in South Sumatra and I was invited there by the tourism ministry of that particular province to go and have a chat, or actually not even have a chat, but attend a tourism forum of all the local tourism authorities in that province, because every single kabupaten has their own little Regency has their own tourism department as well. So they all got together in this big event and I was invited there just to observe and see what's going on and perhaps give some feedback on what I thought could help in that area. And you're probably wondering, well, why was I invited? Who am I? I was just that back in the day I had some involvement in that sort of field. Anyway, it was an interesting experience. That area was a beautiful, stunning area with a beautiful volcano that you could climb, and they were sort of wondering how they're going to get more foreign tourists into the area. And for me, the issue was clear. It was a really difficult place to access. Even though there were facilities in that town and there were some beautiful things to see. Hello! The main issue was, hang on a sec, I think this is the road I'm supposed to be turning down, but this doesn't look like the main road that I was on before. But anyway, we'll keep going and I'll figure out where it goes later. But what was interesting about that is that it was a really naturally beautiful place, and I think a lot of people would enjoy themselves going there. The problem is getting there is so hard. You could get there basically by car. There was an airport that at that time was getting one flight a week from Jakarta, so it was sort of a little bit inaccessible from that point of view. And it was never going to develop. And what I said was, you know what? The best thing that could happen to this place was a big freeway sort of coming by the town, and if there was a big freeway, that'd really open this place up. And literally the crowd of people in that room laughed. And they laughed because they thought, here we have this big foreigner coming in saying that we need to have a big freeway through here, and that's never going to happen. In fact, most of the people there coming from the villages around the area would never have been on a freeway before, or a motorway or a jalan tol. They thought it was so laughable, so laughable. The funny thing is, over the sort of 10 years since then, there has been a motorway built in that province, and I'm not sure how close it goes to that town that I was in, but I would say that it's really opened that place up a lot more than it used to be. And whether they've got any more tourists or not, well, probably not. But the point is that you can sometimes get stuck in this mindset that things are never going to change around here, and they can and they will change if they're a priority set. Now that particular motorway, or those freeways, are sort of one of Jokowi, the previous president's sort of programs. He wanted to build expressways around Indonesia to really link up some of Indonesia's cities and provide accessibility to the residents, but also that opens up tourism opportunities as well. That thing about access, I guess, goes to the point where, if the government wanted to put a bit of money into something, they could actually try and subsidise or use their state carrier, Garuda, to do direct flights between Sydney and Lombok. They'd have to subsidise it because the demand wouldn't be there straight away. But you could get like 3 flights a week coming into Lombok from Sydney, which is Australia's biggest city. And that would really expand tourism into the entire island of Lombok. You wouldn't have to do too much else, to be honest. It'd be a fairly expensive exercise, but nothing compared to the budget that's being spent on tourism totally in Indonesia at the moment, which is in the hundreds of millions of dollars. It wouldn't cost that much. So it would be expensive, but not too bad. They could do it with smaller aircraft and just zip people across 3 times a week, and that would really open things up. You could even have it so there's like a round trip type thing where you could say, you buy a ticket coming into Lombok and you can fly back out of Bali. So it splits people up, introduce people to another island. That'd be a great little option. Or you could do something where if you buy a ticket on Garuda, Garuda will fly you to another place in Indonesia at no cost. A return ticket to, say, Yogyakarta, or a return ticket to Sulawesi, or wherever the person might want to go. That would be extremely popular and a great little program. But you have to pay for it and subsidise the airline, which I guess is not really something that governments want to do. But the thing is, the money's being spent anyway on promotion and building things like this, which I don't think really gives you a good bang for buck. Ooh, they've got a mushroom espresso here as well. Do like that one in Sanur and in Nusa Lembongan. Beautiful place, that one. To be honest, this isn't vastly different to Kuta Bali, honestly. I mean, this is the Kuta Bali I remember when I first went there, and it's just, I guess, newer and in the development phase where you have a lot more newer places available and you can go and have a bit of freedom outside of town where it's not so developed. I think that's the main thing. This is Kuta Bali 30 years ago. That's what this is. And I suppose that's where this sits for me in the scheme of things. If you really miss the Kuta of old, and the Kuta now in Bali is a bit dead, the beach is all rubbish and not worth going to anymore, and you're looking for somewhere new, Kuta Lombok could be the place for you, I think. It feels like it, for sure. Like, it just feels like a carbon copy in a lot of ways of the old Kuta Bali. I guess there's a word of warning that I would give for this place is that you need to be careful where you book your accommodation so that it's not next to a place that's being constructed. There's so much construction going on around here, there's a good chance that you book a hotel that's right next to a construction site. I've done that this time, didn't realise it. So I don't know if that's going to be a problem tonight or not, whether it's going to hurt my relaxation or not, I don't know. We'll find out, but that's something to sort of keep in mind. What I really love is there's still a lot of these smaller warungs around. Like you can get a small bintang there for 25,000, which is about as cheap as you'll get it in Sanur at the moment. You won't get it that cheap in Kuta pretty much, but because these are still warungs and locally owned little eateries doing simple Indonesian food, the prices are still low. There's not many people in them, which is a little bit sad. They seem to be all going to the modern places. I understand that because I've just been to one of those myself. But, you know, if you want those cheap eats, it's definitely still the go here. So I guess what I would say is that this place is at a very good part of its development, of its evolution. Got a car behind me now, going to run me over, so I'm going to have to go up the inside here. And because it's in a very good part of its evolution, of its sort of development in time, I think it's only going to be like this at a place that you enjoy for a short period of time until it becomes the next Kuta Bali and then dies off. I don't know how long it's going to be, but it's still in the development phase. It's still in the development phase. There are still plenty of new businesses here that are, you know, really good and really exciting. I think it's good to come here now, actually. Yeah, as I said, it has got a bit of a feel to it, which I'm a bit uneasy about, but other than that, it's quite nice. I don't know if I could live here. It's not really my place to live. I'm happy where I am in Sanur. I'm still on the lookout for alternatives, just in case Sanur becomes a place I don't want to live anymore, but that's not the case now anyway. I've actually circled right back now to where I was, Kopi Susu. What I'll do, I'll take you back to the place that I'm staying at. I haven't even checked in there. I just dumped my bags off there and started to have a look around it because it's not check-in time yet. It's only 1 o'clock, but hopefully we can get in there now and I'll show you around. Okay, so this is the place I'm staying in. It's called the Res Village, I think it's called, something along those lines. It's a little bit out of the centre of town. It's costing me about 700,000 a night, and it has a big communal area like this and a kitchen, which is nice. And this is my room. It's quite beautiful. Like, it's icy cold in here. Nice big bed. I mean, it's fairly simple, but it's clean as anything, and it's new. And here we have the little bathroom. Yeah, nice and modern. It's quite nice. I mean, I don't really need anything more than this. I don't need a big resort. I don't really like resorts anyway. I'm quite happy to have a really nice room like this. I mean, it is fairly expensive, I think, for the standard, but I think that's just what the standard is here in Kuta Lombok. It's just, as I said, it's booming at the moment. A lot of the properties are fully booked. There seems to be a construction boom, a land grab going on as well. People trying to catch up with demand, which has just gone out of control. This is far busier here than Kuta Bali. Kuta Lombok is busier than Kuta Bali. Guarantee it. Busier than Sonora. It's just an amazing thing to see. I've actually been quite surprised with what's going on around here, but having said that, this is going to suit a lot of people. It's going to suit a lot of people. I can't see myself really coming here on holidays too much, but I know a lot of people are going to love it. And yeah, you've sort of probably got to come here just to see whether you like it or not. If you don't like it, you don't come again. If you love it, you'll be coming here all the time rather than going to Bali. I just think it's that sort of place. So definitely check it out if you're even slightly interested, because it could be the new place for you to visit. Thanks for coming along for the ride today, and thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with all things Sonora and the rest of Indonesia. I'll catch you next time, and sampai jumpa.